All right, welcome to the Irrigation Contracts Club podcast. My name is Pete and I'm your host, and today I'm joined by Mr. Myles Sidorak out of Calgary, Canada. Um, Myles, welcome. Thanks for joining me today.
Hi, you're welcome, Pete.
Why don't you get started by telling me a bit about how you got into irrigation and what your experience in the industry has been thus far?
Okay. Yeah, I sort of fell into it for a long time. I was working for HOAs, managing their facilities. As part of managing the facilities, had to hire the groundskeepers, maintain the irrigation systems, and so forth. At some point, I decided I wasn't too happy doing that anymore, and I want to start up my own business. So I created a business plan to start up an irrigation company, and then serve notice and start up an irrigation company. So yeah, I kind of fell into it. I forgot what else you wanted to know.
And how long ago was that?
Yeah, so in 2007, that's when I quit my job. So I don't know, 17 years ago. It's been a lot of fun since then. So
Okay, gotcha. And you want to give a quick rundown of where you're at right now, like as far as like how many employees, maybe like general revenue numbers, to give a sense of your operation.
yeah, sure. So right now we're hoping to do 4 million this year. That'd be Canadian. Last year we did 3.6 million. We do some lawn maintenance. So we have one crew that cuts the grass, weed eats, aerates, that sort of thing. We have three install crews that install underground sprinkler systems. Two of them we term commercial. The other one is residential. As far as service techs, we're going to be running, I think, about 14 this year. So the service is a bigger part of our business. Then we got fall bloats in the fall. So
hmm Yeah, so you've come a long way from when you started 17 years ago. Um, was it just you in a truck, or what did that like? What did those beginning stages look like?
yeah, it was me and a couple guys for the first year, and then we just kept on growing each year. The other thing too is we service a market of about 1.4 million, so there's quite a few people here. So it's easy to sort of keep on growing. The other thing too is I sort of happened to find my general manager probably 4 years into my business, and he's been instrumental along with the other guys we've hired over the years to actually grow the company. I don't think you can actually grow the company if you don't have the right people in place to help you out. It has less to do with the owner and more to do with everyone that sort of helps the owner out. So
For sure. And you think that the GM was like one of the most important positions that you hired for?
yeah, yeah, he was. And kudos to Jeff.
What what is his role like on the day to day? Like, is he managing schedules and is he like doing trainings, or what's his role in the company?
Yeah, so he's sort of the man in charge. I'll chat with him all the time. Then he's got a service manager underneath him that does sort of residential service, then commercial service, and then an install manager. So he organizes all those guys. Those guys essentially should be organizing everyone underneath him. And he's pivotal in Service Titan this year. And he's in and out of Service Titan a lot. So that's kind of his key role, is making sure Service Titan runs to its best of its abilities, because it is a beast.
For sure, for sure. So you mentioned that you're in a really big market, so that makes it easier to grow. Is it mostly organic growth, would you say, like just referrals and people seeing your trucks in the neighborhood, or what's the biggest driver for customer acquisition?
Yeah, so the first few years we were growing, say 2007 to 2010, it was all about coroplast signs we put up during the fall blowout season. Is, hey, book your fall blowout now, that sort of thing. But back then in 2007, we still had this thing called the yellow pages. So we had ads in the yellow pages. But yeah, the first few years of growth were pivotal, were because of all the coroplast signs we put up. Really like those. Moving forward now, it seems like a lot of our growth is organic. Our website ranks really well with SEO, so people can find us online. They can book their services online with us. It's very easy. So it's all about online for us. We do a bit of PPC and LSA and that sort of stuff. Haven't really figured that stuff out. I think it costs too much for what you get. We also do home and garden shows. And a lot of the times I find, just if you're able to answer the phone and the customer can book the appointment online, you're able to win them over, because everyone's so busy in the spring or in the fall that they can't get to the customer. So yeah, just pick up your phone, or even better, make it easy for your customers to book online with you.
For sure. When they book online, are they allowed? Do you allow them to pick like an exact time slot?
Yeah, so we allow 2 hour time frames. So from say like the first appointment's from 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. Next appointment's 10 a.m. till 12 as far as an arrival time. So we allow them to book 4 different appointments, and yeah, it can all be booked online the day they want, everything, providing we actually have capacity. Like right now, if you go on our website and try and book a spring activation with us, you'll find that we're booking towards the end of May just because we're so busy. We will open up more spots as they become available. But yeah, you can book the date and time that you want online with us, which is really nice for our customers.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would love to be able to do something like that because it makes the whole thing so much more seamless. But we've always been worried about like making inefficient routes with that. But maybe that's just like a software issue. What do you think? Is that like an add-on for Service Titan that allows you to make decent routes while allowing them to pick it?
Yeah, so with Service Titan, we have a product called Dispatch Pro. So you can set it up so that it'll pick the best tech for the job or the closest tech to take care of it. So yeah, the CRM can take care of that, but also it's just a function of once you start growing. Like I don't know how many service vans you're running right now. How many are you running?
We 3 last year. We're shooting for 5 this year.
Yeah, so as you get more service vans, like you're growing by 50%, it'll become more efficient every day just because you have more techs to take care of it. Like when you have, if you have 1 or 2 techs, it's a really big market to take care of. But once you get to like 14 service techs, everything gets a lot closer. So yeah, I think
Yeah, true.
service tech
Yeah,
takes
fair
care
enough.
of that for sure. But as you're growing your company, as long as you get the techs, it doesn't matter. Because yeah, back when we had 5, I started to notice a lot more efficiencies in regards to scheduling, getting appointments done.
Yeah, for sure. Does it literally schedule? Not to get this whole thing about Service Titan, but I mean, Service Titan does seem pretty incredible. There's not too many people on irrigation that are on that software. Does it actually make the entire routes for you? So, like with Dispatch Pro, when a customer goes to click on the time slot, it goes right to a particular technician's route.
It Yeah, this is a good Jeff question. So it puts it on the dispatch board, and you have what they call capacity. So it says you can book 16 appointments today. It'll put 16 appointments on the job board, and it will just pick and choose who's going to do which job next. As that tech gets faster and gets done earlier, it'll move appointment up so he can take care of it. It'll also think about, well, you know what, this one's a mainline irrigation repair. This is a brand new service tech. It's probably not good for him. I'll wait for the next job for him. Uh, I know Jeff also set up job types for different jobs we do, replacing a valve, replacing a sprinkler, and he set up skills. So a new tech can take care of like a brand new irrigation system we installed, preferably, and not put them on the harder calls until they've proven they're able to. And that's kind of it. And you can, with the dial, you
Mm,
can move it more towards proximity or more towards job type. So like in the fall blowout, all about proximity for us, like the closest next fall blowout is the next job that tech will get.
right. Interesting. Yeah. Very cool. What and then you said other than that, so you said that as far as growth, it's just been a matter of making things easy for the customer, and you're getting a lot of calls from Google. Does what kind of work do you do on your for your SEO? You said you rank well. Was that a matter of just like buying a really good website, or is that something that someone in house maintains frequently? Like, is that adding blogs to it? Do you have like a vendor um, update optimizing it for you on a monthly basis?
Yeah, correct. We pay a monthly subscription for someone to update our website and keep it going. But even as like when we first started, it was really easy as long as you kept your content up to date and did that sort of thing. I found it's very easy to sort of become searchable on Google based on that. So right now, I
I
think we
missed that.
pay.
Based on what?
I guess yes. So right now we pay a monthly subscription for them to keep our SEO up and running for
Hmm.
the website. But before that, as long as you sort of updating your website, keeping it current information, I don't think you necessarily have to pay for it to be searchable when it comes to our industry. If you're a realtor, it'd be something different.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Do you do? Do you find? Do you think that adding blogs and like just adding a bunch of content to it helps?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Back when a couple of years ago, before we farmed out our website, I would just Google common industry questions, and then I'd write content about that and put it on our FAQ page on our website. Sort of, when is a good time to turn on irrigation system? How much does the sprinkler system cost? Like all this sort of, like if you were to Google Calgary sprinklers, it has a list of questions that pop up. I would just answer all those questions and put it on my website. So
Nice, yeah. And I see that you seem to be pretty like active in your community. I wonder if anyone's linking to you from that, and maybe that helps. I don't know if that's even a thought process when you're actually like when you're going out to these to like local meetups and stuff like that. But we could talk about the community thing. What value do you think that like are you getting from being active in the community and like the association and shows and stuff like that?
yeah, so for starters, I volunteer for the Canadian Prairie chapter of the Irrigation Association. And it's just nice to get to know other people in the industry and help out and elevate the industry together. But we do strategically help out different communities throughout the city and sponsor events such as like the Stampede Breakfast or the Easter egg hunt or this sort of thing. And it's based on the communities you want to do more work in. For example, we do a lot of sponsorship in Auburn Bay and community in New Brighton. So it just kind of helps you out. And then if you have a relationship with that HOA, they're always plugging you on all the events, sort of saying sponsored by NIAD irrigation systems and that sort of thing. And then it just becomes standard for those communities that you want to be in, that you do support them. And yeah, that really helps out too, with sort of growing those communities.
Hmm. For sure. Is there any other kind of like groups or companies uh, that you think would be valuable for people who are, say, earlier on in their journey to be reaching out to, like property management companies or realtors, or where do where do you find those are usually like not super valuable?
I guess you could reach out to realtors in your neighborhood and that sort of thing. We never did. We just from day one we were supporting the communities we liked, where all of our customers were, and that's kind of what we have done in the past for that type of thing. I've never really created a decent relationship with a realtor. I know we do work with a few of them, but it was never a focus point when I was growing my company.
Hmm. Gotcha. So mostly like HOA focused and community type work.
Yeah, because you do get to know, like
What
as you grow your company.
do you have any?
Yeah, as you start to grow your company, begin to realize where the pockets of customers are in the city or municipality wherever you're at, and that's what you can do to start growing those areas. And say, hey, if I have a lot of customers here, maybe I should start supporting that community and sponsoring events to grow the customer base. So,
Mhm. Gotcha. Yeah, makes sense. Um, I guess, do you have any general advice for people who are say they're still in the truck and it's like either just them running the entire operation or maybe them and one or two other people, but they're trying to get out of the van and maybe get their own general manager one day? Like what are some common mistakes that you're seeing across the industry, and what general advice could you provide for those types?
there's something I heard a while ago that I really like, and it was as long as they do it 80% as good as you, delegate it, right? So don't be so controlling and OCD and nitpicky about stuff. As long as they can sort of do a decent job, let them run with it. Don't be so focused on them completely replacing. As long as they can do it 80% as good as you, that's really good. I'd actually guess that the GM I have in place probably does it 150% better than me, but but that's where I lucked out sort of finding him, and that was just by accident, right? So, you know, just running into Jeff so many years ago was just so instrumental to sort of growing NIAD to where it is right now. Yeah, just having that proper number one to help you out and grow it. I guess, yeah, it's a lot of hard work. You just have to keep on working. The other thing too that was really good is probably 4 or 5 years into NIAD, I invested in a CRM. So that invest in technology, get your website going, get your CRM going, whether it be Jobber, Hindsight. It doesn't have to be as robust as Service Titan, although I would say Service Titan is the best. But it's something to sort of work towards at the end as Service Titan, as far as I'm concerned. Like I think once we had 800 customers, we were running, I forget the name of the original CRM, but then eventually we got better and bigger, and then we moved to Hindsight. And then once we get to 3,200 customers, we just I wanted to be on the cloud. So we said, okay, well, let's look at the different options. At that point, Service Titan wasn't really servicing the irrigation industry because they were missing a few pieces. But once we met with them, they added those pieces so that we could sort of jump on board with them. We were definitely thinking about Jobber, but our major hesitation with Jobber is just you couldn't track inventory with it. And whatever CRM you pick, make sure it has a decent API. So that way, if you want to bolt anything else on, you can. Because I don't know. I hear a lot of good things about Jobber, and I really like Hindsight because it was built for the irrigation world. My only hesitation at the time was it wasn't really good on the cloud. I know they've fixed that, or they have something on the cloud now. I'm just not familiar with how well it works. So,
Mm-hmm. Do you have some pretty technical people in house to operate Service Titan and especially being that you mentioned the API and like bolting things onto it that way? Is that something that you typically do in house, or is that something that you outsource?
yeah, so our website company is pretty good at sort of getting it all to chat with our website, getting it all working there. But Jeff does a lot of that stuff also. Like Jeff is really good that way. The first two CRMs, I was pretty involved. I knew what was going on, but now with Service Titan, it's Jeff that's running it. Like Service Titan is an investment financially, but it's also an investment in time. If you don't invest the time, you're not going to get what you need out of it, and then it's going to be a big waste of time. But just the way everything's going with machine learning, AI, all that stuff, like the client can book the appointment online on your website, or eventually they'll be able to just call in and it'll say, oh, it's May 5th. Everyone's busy. We can't answer the phones right now. Would you like to leave a message? Would you like to be on hold? Or would you like to chat with our AI bot and book this thing for you? And then the client will be able to chat with the AI bot, be able to book the service by calling online, all that sort of stuff. Because that's sort of what I see in the industry is like for us, it's May 1st. We get really busy. I don't know what the other areas are like. But come May 1st, it's really hard to answer your phone, take care of all your customers. You got like that month or two of just chaos. So if you can sort of have something to sort of help out with booking more calls, getting back to your customers quicker, it's an excellent way to grow your company rather than just saying, oh yeah, we're booking 6 weeks in advance. We'll call you back when we can. Like, no, you got to get better and grow your team. And sounds like you're doing that if you're going from 3 techs to 5. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. I think it could either work out really, really well, or it could blow up in our face. So we'll see how it goes. But idea being, we're young enough that if something does go awry, then we can recover eventually. So how did you meet Jeff? How can I meet a Jeff?
Funny story is I had another guy in place that was actually doing the interviewing back in the day, and we put a job ad up, and Jeff was at another job, and he just wasn't happy anymore. So he applied for the job ad. He got interviewed, and the other guy hired him. Back in the day, if you had it's called a GED, like it's not really a full blown driver's license. That was one of the criteria. If you didn't have a full blown driver's license, there's no way I was going to hire you. Luckily, that other guy decided to hire him, and yeah, that's how he grew. And yeah, first year he just really showed lots of promise, and then second, third year, I'm like, okay, we're the general manager. You can just run with this, and I'll go do whatever I want. But I guess to be truthful and honest, like everyone talks about getting out of the van and the truck, but come the spring and fall, I still run a service van. So May and June, I'm out in the service van helping out with our rushes, and then come the fall, I'll help out with fall bloats. Other than that, I am in the office. So, but I do help out in the spring and fall. And Jeff is in the office 12 months of the year, whereas I'm not. So.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, managing the call volume seems to be like that's the challenge in the industry. Like you said, it's crazy it's crazy in spring, crazy in fall, nothing in winter, and then summer it tends to like slow down a little bit. Was it because of that slowdown in the summer? Is that why you added on the additional services like lawn care, like to try to combat that, or what was the thought process there?
Yeah, so we have a relationship with a land developer in town, and they have a bunch of show homes. They just asked us one day if we wanted to maintain those show homes to cut the grass and do the snow removal in the winter. So yeah, moreover, it was to have the snow removal in the winter to sort of keep our guys on and not lay them off in the winter. So it was brought on, but less about the summer, more about the winter, if that makes any sense.
Mhm. Gotcha. Yeah, definitely. Do you try to are you guys paid hourly or salary?
So our key guys have a salary, but the majority, so call it maybe 6 are on salary, the remainder are hourly. And what we do during the summer is we bank their overtime. So anytime they put over 4 hours, or sorry, anything over 8 hours per day or 44 hours per week, whichever benefits them more, they get their time banked at time and a half. And then during the winter, when there's not much going on for snow removal, we can then pay them their bank time. And if there's not much going on, then we'll get them to take some classes to the IA or get certified as cross connection testers. Point being is we can actually pay them year round. So that way you're not looking to hire a whole bunch of new staff in the spring. You've got a pool to work from in the spring that have been with you all year. So, but then the point is during the winter, you should be putting them through classes, get them IA certified, get them better. And then I guess work on maybe some sales training too, which is something we haven't done that good in the past, but we have been working on a script this year. So that way we could hopefully sell a couple extra Wi-Fi timers and then move the water saving needle here in Calgary. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. Because I guess that's the other biggest challenge is just retaining technicians because of that off season is so significant. What is how'd you get into snow removal? Did you find someone that already had experience there to try to run that, or did you just kind of figure it out?
yeah, we just figured it out. We just do residential though, so no big commercial complexes. It's all just sidewalks and driveways. So just buy some backpack blowers, some snow chuckers, and some shovels and some scrapers and get to it. So that's how we ended up doing that. But then I guess the other thing too is like we still have people in place to sort of to help out. So
Yeah, fair enough. So is it the same guy? Do you cross train everyone so that like the service technician can also move snow and can also do lawn care, or do you kind of separate those?
we keep it separate. I suppose if need be, we can move some people into the sort of landscaping position if we need help. But a service tech is a service tech. I find like either you can be a service tech, an installer, or a landscaper. A service tech is the hardest role to fill as far as I'm concerned because you have to be mechanically inclined, chat with customers, have communication skills, have all your teeth, be able to smile. So yeah, they're definitely different roles. Whereas I find installers are more task oriented, like put a head here, put a head here, put a head here. And service techs are more, what's the problem? How can I fix it? This is really exciting.
For sure. Where do your installs come from? Are they do the installs like get passed over from a service tech who decided that the whole system should be redone, or is it typically like new builds, or where do you get the new install jobs from?
Typically new builds via our website, and then I guess just Facebook and other means. We do. There's the odd time where an install or an existing install just needs to be replaced altogether, but those are very rare that we get the work that way. So
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything that what do you try to do on your new installs to try to set you guys apart from someone else who would do it for? I'm sure every market has people who are willing to work for basically nothing. So what do you try to do to set you guys apart?
we've got a little FAQ that sort of outlines what makes us different than the others. But moreover, our install manager, Tom, does a really decent job of communicating with clients. He also makes a drawing in Pro Contractor Studio that he shares with the clients. So they're saying, this is where the heads are going to be. These are the types of heads. He puts a lot of work into his actual quote himself. So that way it sets him apart. Other guys, oh, it's 4 zones. It'll be this much. Whereas Tom will give him a complete drawing and a complete material takeoff outlining what the price should be based on how we do things. So yeah, it all comes down to presentation. And Tom's been doing install quotes for, I'm guessing, 8 years now. So he's really good at what he does. The one thing that we're working on this year that we haven't done in the past is actual follow-up. So we're going to try and do more follow-up rehashing this year to see if we can move the needle, because we'd send off a quote and never reach out to the client again. Whereas maybe the next day send him a video saying how nice it was to meet with him, want to know what you liked, what you didn't like about the quote, and have another process to sort of do more follow-up. So I guess, so with our sales process, and also it comes down to your Google reviews. That's the other thing we use a lot of. Like we have 4.9 stars, almost 600 reviews. So we use that to sort of set us apart from the competition. If you're not paying attention to your Google stars, like if you have less than 4 stars on your Google profile, you need to fix that. 4 or more is great. You don't have to be perfect, and it's good to have some bad comments on there also. And if he has some bad comments, acknowledge him, tell him you're sorry, you'll make it up to him somehow. Don't argue with them online. Don't say how you were right and they were wrong. Just take it offline. But yeah, Google, Google, Google. So I guess that's the other way to actually set yourself apart from competition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. And I'm sure that you have those with ServiceLight, and I'm sure you have those like automated review requests, and those are just so powerful. When you're building out the new quote or a new install quote, do you subscribe more to the idea of like keep it as simple as possible and just give them one all-encompassing quote, or is it more like give them as many options as possible and give them like, you know, 8 quotes for for the same, like slightly different iterations of the same system?
Yeah, I think with quotes right now, you should be giving at least 3 options, and that's what we try and do. One sort of a basic, another one with flow sensing, and another with flow sensing, upgraded heads, and that sort of thing. So yeah, I do like the 3 options because yeah, who's to say like if you were to try and sell an irrigation system to me, I'll want the one with flow sensing, heads, all that sort of stuff. But if you were to quote my wife, she'll want the cheapest system ever. So that's the analogy I always tell the guys is you gotta present options. Don't assume you know what your client wants.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Do you try to keep the same? Do you try to keep that with service repairs as well?
Yeah, with service, we always try and offer options also. We're more about water conservation though. So if you walk up to an irrigation system, the conventional timer, we'll always present options in regards to, oh, you can upgrade to a Wi-Fi timer. We recommend the HydroWise here. You can use Ratchet, whatever it is, but we do use HydroWise as sort of our Wi-Fi controller. And then you can also include a wireless rain sensor with that too. Like we use Rainbird as our wireless rain sensor. So we'll present 3 options. Sort of just get this head replaced or get a Wi-Fi timer or get a Wi-Fi timer and rain sensor, assuming they don't already have those other 2 in place.
Right, for sure. Yeah, got it. Have you messed around with the with like flow meters at all?
Yeah, we have a few clients that have flow meters installed. I'd still like to see it get better. I think the technology's not quite there yet. Like we'll get alerts because the pressure dropped in the community. You have to be able to sort of look at the alerts and decide why it actually alerted. With HydroEyes, we set it for a 25% change. And so you always look at why the alert's happening because maybe it's a false alarm. But then we've had instances where it is a broken head and you call up the clients, hey, it looks like an alert. Do you want us to come take a look at your system? And then we take a look, show them the broken head, and they are very appreciative of it. So it's a nice selling feature, especially like with I'm sure Ratio does it too, but Hunter has the ohm readings on the solenoids. He says, hey, it looks like zone 1's having a problem. Do you want us to come take a look? Use their app. Oh, yeah, zone 1 isn't working. How'd you know? And then we send the tech. Nice thing too is it's not 911 when you send the tech. It's like, okay, well, we'll get a tech out there next week to get it fixed. Not a problem. Whereas if the techs or the client went out there, saw zone 1 is dead, well, they're going to be calling in 911. We need to get this fixed straight away. Whereas if you can sort of say, be proactive, then you don't have to be so reactive when it comes to service calls. And that's where I really like having does Ratchet have a contractor portal that tells you the solenoids? You use Ratchet, don't you?
Yeah, they do. And it'll give you, yeah. We use Ratio, and I think that, like from what I understand, HydroWise is probably better. But like Ratio is from the Denver area, so everyone is really familiar with it, like all the homeowners, and it's already perceived as like top of the line product. And I think that even though HydroWise might be better, it's not like so much better that I want to spend time convincing customers that they're wrong and Ratio actually isn't the best. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, they do have a contractor portal, and they do give you notifications for like faulty solenoids and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's really good. I'm not sort of like, I'm never sort of, oh, we can only use this timer. It's, what does the customer want? You want to install a Orbit B, whatever it is? Yeah, sure. $200. I'll get it installed. Like, as long as you're making the money, who cares what the customer wants? Don't, when it comes to product lines too, it's like, okay, we'll use the 5004 as our rotor head, stainless steel plus, and then we'll use MP rotators as our nozzles, and then spray also use Toro Precisions, and then control valves use this. Like we're not brand specific. It's kind of like what we like the best that we end up using.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And then it's also, it also seemed, I don't know, do you try to be mindful of like the other kind of, like say you're going to go swap a rotor, and you notice that all of the other rotors are Hunter, are you like actually taking note of that and then trying to match that with a Hunter, or is it like whatever we have on the truck, like it doesn't matter if we mix Hunter and Rainbird because as long as the precipitation rate is the same, it doesn't really matter. What's your thought on that? Do you give any do you pay any mind to like matching the products that they already have?
Yeah, we give zero thought to that. We do use the premium best heads available. Like I said, with the Rainbird heads, we'll use the stainless steel plus like just the most robust head, but then focus on the nozzle. If it should be 1 gallon per minute, put the 1 gallon per minute nozzle in there. Like, and it's amazing when you go up to a new install or old install, the rotor heads are never nozzled properly. So just make sure you put the proper nozzle in. So that's what we focus on, is making sure the right nozzle goes in. We don't care about the head. We just want to install a very good head.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I think maybe that's one of those things where it seems like a lot of people maybe focus on things that don't matter too much. Um, so I'm glad that you can confirm that for me, being that you're obviously a very successful contractor. What what do you think? Who do you follow when it comes to like management and leadership? Is there any books or people that you recommend to like follow their teachings?
Yeah, so right off the bat, I'd be impressed by Michael Gerber. I really liked that book when I was first starting. I like the idea of profit first, but as I say that, I tell you, I haven't implemented it. So that's the bad thing. So yeah, I like those two guys as far as books. As far as following people, well, it's all about podcasts nowadays for me. It's like the Home Service Millionaire by Tommy Mello. Um, Rhino's got a podcast. Can't remember the name. So and then yeah, so just I listen to a lot of
Is that
podcasts
to
to be
the
honest.
point?
Yeah, to the
Hmm.
point. And then
Yeah,
Waste No Day is another one I've been liking lately. So
for sure. On the profit first thing, so yeah, that's interesting that you bring it up because I know a lot of people who like I see that recommended all the time, but I don't know anyone who follows it. And we thought about following it, and we were really going to try to, but then when we were like going through exactly what it's going to entail, it's like, and this seems like a pain in the ass. I don't know if we're gonna actually stick to this, and if we don't stick to it, then it could be kind of bad.
So I guess like just to interject there in regards to profit first, I have an Excel spreadsheet I built over years, which is a cash flow forecast. So it's kind of like it does the same thing for me. I'm always watching cash. I actually watch cash more than I watch my budget nowadays, it seems, because it's like the seasonality of our business is you make all that money in the summer and the spring, and then the fall, winter, you don't make any money. So the profit first, I really like the methodology, but right now my cash flow forecast in my Excel spreadsheet that probably only I could understand works well for me to know that I'm doing okay financially, and to also stress me out when I look months ahead. I have no money, so I will then like I went through that this winter. It's kind of like we didn't make as much money in August because we had water restrictions here in Calgary, and so we took a hit profit wise of probably $50,000 in August in regards to like because we just couldn't do any service calls because they wouldn't shut off the irrigation systems. But then in August, I forecasted out and I saw, oh gosh, we're gonna have a problem come this winter with my Excel spreadsheet. So I guess the point is profit first is really good because it could get you sort of all geared up and realize there's problems. But if you're not doing profit first, at least be doing a cash flow forecast so you can sort of see what's coming down the pipeline for you. So
Yeah, for sure. How do you go about building a cash flows forecasting spreadsheet?
an accountant helped me out with it probably 10 years ago. Yeah,
Okay.
just I keep on plugging in. So maybe chat with your accountant, see if they can help you out with the cash flow forecast or an Excel spreadsheet and just really start tracking it. And it's just very useful, especially given our business. You make all that money in the summer and the winter, it's crickets. It's actually quite depressing. So I think we were chatting about that a while ago. Like the winter blues are horrible in this industry. You go from making all that money during fall blowouts, and then January, February come along, and you're just hemorrhaging money, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, this is so depressing." I don't know why we got in this
Yeah,
industry.
no doubt. Um, I want to ask you about inventory. Do you store inventory at your like? Do you have a warehouse where you store inventory, or do you let techs go and pick it up, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we store all the inventory at our shop. And then from there, we disperse it all the vans. In the perfect world, our techs never go to a distributor just because a lot of time wasted that way. And I just sooner they kind of come pick up their parts at the shop and get it done. It's all tracked internally with Service Titan, which we were able to do with hindsight back in the day too, where it'd say, okay, you got 100 heads in the shop, you got 10 heads in this van, blah blah blah. And I always sort of say, or chat with the accountant or the banker, and I say, we got pretty much $10,000 for the parts in every van because those nozzles are expensive. So yeah, everything sort of everything comes from our shop, everything goes to our shop. In the perfect world, our techs never go to the distributor.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. And then is there someone in charge of once a certain material hits below a certain threshold, they then order it, or is that an automatic thing, or how does actually stocking and restocking work?
Yeah, correct. So the gentleman that takes care of all our commercial service techs, his name is Jose. He also manages inventory. And there's sort of parameters set up in Service Titan saying once you get to 10 heads, I need you to order another 90 to get you to 100. And it just keeps on. It sort of helps him manage it. But yeah, Jose is in charge of making sure that all the products get ordered and then making sure everything gets counted at the end of the year and reconciled. So inventory is a beast.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yeah, for sure. So being that you're tracking what's on the van, does that mean that when a service technician does a job, do they plug in what materials they used?
Correct. Yeah, we track. The tech is to track all the material used at every one of the jobs. I used a Wi-Fi timer here. I used the spray head here. I used this nozzle. And if they do it correctly, then it sort of lets Jose know when they need more parts. So it kind of saves them some time. There are errors made, but yeah, the more accurately you enter stuff into the CRM, the more organized you are, the less headaches you have. There's nothing worse than getting to a job on the other side of town and finding out you don't have a Wi-Fi timer to give the customer. You have to go all the way back. So
yeah, for sure. I got a question for you. When it comes to vehicles, do you prefer to own or lease?
yeah, right now we're owning them. We buy them, but we pay them off over 3 to 5 years. So yeah, we just keep on buying and replacing. I let the vehicles get kind of long in the teeth during COVID there in the last few years, and we're really paying for it now. We had to pay a lot of repairs and maintenance last year. Plus, then there's just the downtime. If a van goes down during a key time, that costs you a lot of money in revenue. So yeah, we buy and lease. But then I guess the other thing that we do, and this is kind of nice for us, I don't know if you guys have it, but Enterprise allows us to rent vans. So we rent 9 vans for May and June to sort of get us all going. They even put shelving units and everything for us. So it's just nice because, again, during that spring rush, it's nice to have the extra capacity. But then the rest of you don't need those service vans. So yeah, we rent 9 extra vans May and June. We may even keep them a couple extra months longer depending on what's going on. And we even put decals on them too. So we'll put a little decal on it with a call tracking number. So that way they look like our vans, and you can just get some cheap decals put on them. So we're all about the branding and the decals on the vans. And Enterprise is who we use to rent the vans, but I'm sure there's someone that can help you out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be super nice. Have you found when it comes to? So you said that you kept some vehicles a little too long and then paid a lot in repairs last year. Do you think that there's is there a magic number that once it hits X amount of miles, that's when you should sell it?
Yeah, I don't know. I hope so. What I hear is it's 4 years, but it depends on the vehicle. Like if you're to chat with the guys at Enterprise, they'll be able to tell you exactly when when the vehicle's worth the most amount. But yeah, I don't know. It's I still don't know vehicles. We should probably be talking about something else.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no doubt. This is a podcast that, we're trying to help other people, but I also just ask whatever issues are on my mind. I'm just looking for help there as well.
If you can rent the vans, that is freaking awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And then do you rent them again when it comes time to winterize?
No, we use all of our trucks and our existing vehicles for that. So that's one thing.
Okay,
have you
gotcha.
started
So
looking?
You need more vehicles during summer. Sorry, we have a slight delay. Go ahead.
Yeah. What do you use for compressors?
We use you might not like this. We use little, what are they, 30 gallons, and they probably I think 28 CFM, and we put them in the back of the truck. We put them in the truck bed, and now a lot of people have a lot of shit to say about that, but and I understand, but it is they are very cheap, and we've never had an issue. Like one of the compressors has been around. We've been using it for like 6 years now, and there's never been a system that we couldn't winterize or that took more than like 2 minutes per zone. And we're not doing anything more than like 12 zones max anyway, you know? But yeah, that's where we're at. Although in a perfect world, we transition from pickup trucks to vans and we use tow behind compressors. That is the ultimate goal.
Yeah, so we have a combination of things now. We still rent probably, I don't know, 8 compressors, tow behinds, but we'll have the truck mounts too. So we have truck mounts, but they do up to 100 CFMs. I think our truck are 110 CFMs. And we say, okay, anything, 4 zones or less, the truck mounts can do. Then we have the tow behinds that are 185s. And it's like, okay, well, they can do all the bigger acreages, the bigger systems. And then we own one 400, but then we still rent a couple others, and those are for our bigger commercial systems. So yeah, we still have truck mounts. Also, we have a combination of things. What I like about the truck mounts is you're not towing anything, get in and out. It's really easy. We'd sooner have the sort of a combination of everything. So
yeah. So you don't have all vans. You have trucks as well. Is that for plowing, or what's the reason behind that?
Yeah, we like trucks for installs. So where all of our installs, the guys working the site or the guys towing the trailer, they all have trucks. We tow a truck with the trailer, and the trailer's got the Zon in the back and all the parts. So yeah, I definitely like trucks for installs. Service, I like big service vans because I love the billboards, and I love standing in a van when I got to put on my rain gear to go outside. I love service vans myself. I know why guys love their service trucks too, and that's what they like. I like the service van, and mostly because I like to stand in it so I can put on my rain gear before I go outside, so I'm nice and dry. And secondly, because it's a big friggin' billboard, so it just works for marketing.
Yeah, no doubt. I love. We have one van, and I don't get to drive it, but whenever I do, it's awesome, and I very much prefer that. Yeah, cool, man. I think we've touched on a lot here. Is there anything else that you want to say to the listeners?
No, I really like what you're about, Pete. I like that group that you started. I like the texting. I like all that. So wish you tons of luck this year, and want you to grow to 5 techs and keep on growing your companies and keep on doing what you're doing with this group. I really like it, Pete. Thank you.
Sweet. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, man. I really very much appreciate it. All right, signing off.
Okay.